Do you ever wonder why your partner responds to you the way that they do in certain situations? The way that they interact with you is probably a result of how their own caregiver interacted with them as a child. Today, we will explore early interactions that a child has with their primary caregiver and how they influence the attachment styles that they form in the future. Hopefully, by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to understand why your partner interacts with you the way that they do. And hopefully, this will be able to help you manage more empathetic and meaningful conversations. Research implemented by John Bowlby in 1960s identified the 4 different attachment styles: anxious, avoidant, fearful avoidant, and secure. His 4 attachment styles were later expanded upon by Mary Ainsworth in 1978 through her SSP, Strange Situation Procedure Experiments. A review of attachment theory in the context of adolescent parenting, published in the Journal of Pediatric Healthcare, Flattery and Salder explained the SSP experiments that were conducted by Ainsworth and claimed that it was able to relate attachment theory to the perspective of children and their mothers by evaluating what the infant would do when it was removed from its mother. It is important to note that these 4 attachment styles can change over time depending on the interactions that a child has with other individuals. We'll start by talking about anxious. In an anxious child, the primary caregiver was inconsistent to responding to the child during emotional stress. An example of this is that when the baby cried, the mother engaged with it only sometimes. In future relationships, the child will then seek validation, be very needy, or too clingy. The second form of attachment style that we will talk about today is avoidant. In avoidant children, the mother was dismissive to the child or did not respond to it at all when it was crying or seek validation. This is the second most prevalent attachment style. According to Kelly Gonzalez in 2021, the article, "What is Your Attachment Style?" only 25% of adults have this attachment style, and this goes behind the 56% of adults that display a secure attachment style, which you will talk about later. In avoidant children, the mother didn't attend to the child when it was crying. So in future relationships, the child will be scared of intimacy, stay emotionally distant from their partners, or display more independence. The third type of attachment style that we will talk about is fearful avoidant, also known as anxious avoidant or disorganized. Not a lot of research has been done on this form of attachment style, but it is a combination between the 2 previously mentioned attachment styles that we talked about earlier, anxious and avoidant. So this is formed by the primary caregiver traumatizing the child, and this can be through forms of abuse. In future relationships, the child could have a hard time trusting their partner, bounce between being anxious and avoidant, and even show aggression in relationships. The last form of attachment that we are going to be talking about today is secure. In secure relationships, the primary caregiver is engaged in positive interactions with the child. For example, when the child is crying, the mom always is quick to respond. In future relationships, the child will easily trust others, seek love and intimacy, and be comfortable with their partner. This idea is supported by Tzurki and Alun in 2010 article, "How Does Attachment Styles Relate to Intimate Relationships to Aggravate the Depressive Symptoms?" published in the Procedia Journal of Behavioral and Social Sciences. He said, "Both men and women with the secure attachment style have greater relationship interdependence, commitment, trust, and satisfaction than the anxious or avoidant attachment style." After discussing the 4 different attachment styles and their formation by the primary caregiver, hopefully you all will be more empathetic towards your partner in the way that they interact with you and why they do it.